Hey everyone, Ethan here from WordTech, back with episode 2 of Blips. So this episode here is going to be on microcode, which is overall really complicated subject. And to be completely honest, this video here, I like to keep these around 5 to 10 minutes, is still not going to be enough to give you every detail on it, but it is in its most simplified format, so to speak. Now, as you guys know, this series is all about taking a very basic concept and trying to give as much detail on it as possible in a short period of time, and this is still sticking to that pattern. I'm just saying that there's so much that it's hard to realistically fit it in here. Now, many of you maybe have heard of microcode, updating the microcode on a processor. Intel, AMD have had to do that on some of their processors and stuff, but it's a little bit more extensive than that. Microcode is used in virtually everything out there that is, microcontrollers, CPUs, GPUs, all kinds of other processing units or controllers, as they're often called. And microcode is basically the underlying structure before the machine code or machine instructions, machine level instruction set. Basically, the microcode is translating the machine code into a format that is more hardware readable, so to speak. So it's kind of a middleman there, making programming and stuff like that, the visible part of programming that actual developers can see, much simpler. Also making implementing various instruction sets and stuff like that much simpler, because you've got a translator in the middle that is taking all of that and turning it into a more hardware-based code. Now, microcode is generally stored in extremely high-speed memory, generally obviously flash-based or something of the sort, but it is oftentimes stored in like read-only memory, although that does negate the ability to update the microcode in the future. So we've kind of started to move into it being more a writable memory format, oftentimes stored on like flash or something like that, and not a ROM in specific, which stands for read-only memory. And so microcode can be updated, although there are still times that you don't want it to be updated. You don't generally want it to be messed with unless it's absolutely necessary. There have been times where Intel and AMD have had to update microcode of various processors in order to keep them from having weird glitches like miscalculating things that just don't make sense, or causing crashes or something like that. And that's oftentimes a incorrect translation from the machine code through the machine instruction sets going through the microcode can cause things to be really wonky and get an incorrect output from the CPU, when in fact the CPU is not doing the wrong thing. It's a matter of the microcode causing the problem there. And so those translations are very important, and there have been times where there's little mistakes there that have to be corrected. Not super often. There's extensive testing that's oftentimes done on the microcode to make sure everything is set up the way it's supposed to be, but again, occasionally there are times that it has to be updated, so that's why oftentimes with CPUs at least, and I think GPUs commonly, I couldn't find too much data on that, but they're oftentimes not stored in read-only memory. They are stored in a writable format of very fast memory. Now, microcode is basically what implements the programmer visible code or visible architecture. So again, it all comes down to it being that translation layer that allows more basic level, so to speak, of programming to be translated over, and allowing different instruction sets to be used and whatnot. So microcode is really a very important aspect to processors of all kinds. Again, not just CPUs, not just central processing units or graphics processing units. It's important in every way so that we're not having to, hand code in, weird formats and whatnot. And so having this translation layer there really helps. It's essentially just allowing the visible architecture to be disconnected from the physical hardware. So the physical programming is not actually going directly to the CPU. It's going through the microcode, which is then, translating it to something the CPU can understand back and forth, allowing the CPU to process different instructions. So that's pretty much it for microcode. Honestly, like I said, it is a broader subject, and I tried to simplify it enough to make it make sense, because there are so many different things that could actually be used in other episodes of Blips in order to explain it in much greater detail. But microcode was the thing I had planned for the next video here, so that's what's happening. But anyway, it's a very complicated concept. I don't understand it fully myself, but that is the best summarization that I've been able to come up with over the fairly large amount of time that I've been studying it to understand it better. But I hope that helped everybody that's curious about what exactly microcode is. Again, it's that translation layer between the actual machine code, the machine architecture. It's a translation layer to disconnect the visible programming from the physical hardware. And I hope that helps anybody that was looking for more information about it. There are multiple articles and stuff like that you can read, including like a large Wikipedia page about all the details on it. But that is basically a summary of what it is. Hey YouTube, I hope you guys just enjoyed the video that you just watched, but don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course click the little notification thing next to subscribe once you subscribe so that you don't miss any of our updates. That way you get properly notified every time we upload a video. Feel free to leave a comment, as well as check out any of our stuff in the description there. We've got social media links, we've got links to the website, as well as our forums. Feel free to post whatever you like in the forums. And of course our Patreon page is also down there if you guys are interested in supporting the channel directly with a monthly contribution. The Patreon page is a great place to do that. It's just a small monthly payment, $1, $3, $10,000, whatever you feel like doing. Definitely just pulls it out monthly and gives it to us. Patreon, of course, takes a small cut, but basically that's just a way of supporting the channel directly if you guys like the content that we are producing. And I just want to say thank you everybody for watching, and thank you to all current Patreon subscribers. It's definitely awesome to have some of you guys on board with that, and we really appreciate it here at WordTech. Hope you all have a wonderful day.